Okay, let's have a little look at it then. So let's try and look at a pattern. And maybe we're just seeing something that's not there. So, I'm going to factor that in. Let's just have a look at it. So I'm going to go back to Germany, yes?
Yeah.
And they were fascinated with Antarctica, yes?
Mm.
And cold regions, yes?
Yeah.
And they're looking for something. This then led them to yeah?
Mm-hmm.
They were also looking at ancient texts, yeah, artifacts and stuff, so text. Which then led them to make rockets. Ancient texts, something figured out. Luminati, Luna. Lemuria, Lumeria, moon. Okay, something else played out as well, right?
Mm.
So could have Germany have sent a rocket to the moon? Were there cameras back then?
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna put cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Cameras. What if there was an advanced civilization already?
Where?
Moon. The Glass Age, yeah?
Yeah.
The Glass Age. What if there was already an advanced civilization, but they were greedy? Too greedy. Not greedy and hoarding wealth, but perhaps already star civilizations, already knew. What else is there? JFK.
Yeah.
I find secrets repugnant.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to the moon, not because these things are easy, but because they are hard, and we'll do it in a decade,
Mm-hmm.
and the other things. Onto the moon, and then he is assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
What did he know? What secrets? What secrets? Why the moon? What are they looking for? An advanced civilization, yes? No? Maybe. I think there was an advanced civilization. I don't think it was on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it always leads to Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of the leaders went to Antarctica at one point, 2018, 17, 16, 15. From there on, all of the leaders wanted to go and find stuff in Antarctica, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else was there? There was something else. Julian Assange. He found something, didn't he?
Yeah.
He found something. What? And why would people want to kill him?
Mm-hmm.
Would this unpin religion?
That's a question. Who knows?
Huh?
Yeah, that's a question.
I'm just going to put relid.
I can't see much of it.
It's just how I understand it.
Yeah.
So, if there was something on the moon, Julius Assange found it, they'd want to kill him because of what? Religion? This would make the religious believers question the whole faith, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
when they've spent a whole lifetime house arrest. He's under house arrest, yes?
Yeah.
So was Galileo. Well, that's religious behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Rockets. Antarctica. Wernher von Braun, the moon. Well, perhaps man couldn't get to the moon, but cameras could, couldn't they? Telescopes? What do they, what caused that? That fear? Germany, Antarctica, Artifacts, moon, Lemuria, Illuminati. Comes from what? Illuminati, Luna, Lemuria, a city of crystal, glass, lights. Lemuria. Bavarian Illuminati, yes? Is German, yes?
Yeah.
Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Germany. Bavarian Illuminati, This is a pattern. JFK was assassinated by someone that was then assassinated themselves. Why? Which would have stopped the moon mission going ahead, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What would be the reason? Most leaders love wealth. They love abundance. They love hoarding things. They love holding things. They like to hoard as much as they fucking can, right?
Yeah.
But yet going to the moon means resources.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the only time that they don't want to go. And then no talk of going back ever again. Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Astronauts are compared to parrots.
Yeah.
They don't fly very well, but parrots are taught what to say.
Yeah.
Learn to repeat.
Yeah. So
There are things out there beyond what was it? Yeah. If only some have the will to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to, what is that? What did he see? He knows something. It's coded. Again, there's another bit. Neil Armstrong. Nah. Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Armstrong. Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Julian Assange. JFK. Germany. It's fascination with this moon, isn't there? Like, so played down and then what? Abundance gets turned away? It's too expensive. Yeah, but fuck me, that's resource, that's money. It doesn't make any sense. It does make sense. It's a pattern. There's a pattern merging here.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? This protects what? Religions? Would it protect religions? There's no life anywhere else. It's just here. It rewrites the textbooks.
Yeah, it tells about the textbook that God created this place. Didn't he?
But what if there's a deeper meaning to this? What about if there were already life dwellers on this planet? And there were certain life dwellers on the moon. 2 species that were not created at the same place and time.
Yeah.
Then that would pose a political stance as who owns the world truly then, doesn't it? Who has more of a right than the other, which again, you don't want to be getting into that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The talk that we came down from the sky, or that gods came down from the sky. If you already had life forms here,
Mm-hmm.
and they saw that, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You'd write it, you'd draw it, but we've been told to believe it's God's.
Yeah.
What about if it was us?
It's possible. Yeah.
We came from the rivers of Africa. No, we came from cold climate. What did they find? Why did all the religious leaders and stuff want to go over to Antarctica? Then the treaty. What about the treaty that's there?
Yeah.
That's a big treaty, isn't it?
Does it still apply?
It's one of the biggest treaties you've ever seen.
Because they are definitely fighting over the North Pole.
North Pole, meh.
Yeah, I know them, but so there must be something special on South Pole, because otherwise they would be fighting over resources there too, wouldn't they? Like on
But they
North
signed
Pole.
a treaty,
Yeah,
no one goes there.
Yeah, I know, but there must be good reason for that. Because North Pole, they will shred it.
Right? So why
Yeah.
not the moon?
Maybe.
Unless there was something there. What if there was a civilization already rise up there, but things got dire? Remember the video?
What if humans came in moon? What if it's something that can or could?
But there again,
Move.
you can't look at the moon as a barren wasteland as it is now. You'd have to go back in time. And we know in this fucking solar system that things change, that it evolves.
Just like anywhere else, yeah. They do.
So everything is evolving, changing, meaning that's what it means. Weather, space, weather. Some things have been knocked slightly closer to the planet. Some things have been blasted off, crusted in. We go back in time further and wonder how Mercury would look. Again, you can't take it at face value of what you see it as. And then what, we can write a whole shoebox worth of information on it? Is it really real? That's the thing. Is it truly like that? We can only guess what it used to look like. But again, try and guess what it looks like in the future. I don't think they dare say it. There will be no model that will be able to predict that. Because there's too many variables, right?
Yeah.
Because we've only been around for point A to point B, and we've only seen it in that ratio, and to assume that it's always going to be like that is just not it. Yeah, this is a pattern, but it keeps relating back to this. Lunar, luminarium, luminati, light. What is that? Lemuria, Lemuria. Nah. Julian Assange, what does he know? Well, he knows something.
Something some countries really do not like.
And then JFK finds secret repugnant, yes?
Mm-hmm.
What secret?
Yeah.
What is he referring to? And Neil Armstrong, what's he referring to? And Germany, what were they doing? Wouldn't this make religious panic?
Yeah.
Oh, if they'd infiltrated it, paid their informants or spies like they did with Jesus and other things, yes? They had their spies, and also in Egypt, the ancient Egyptians. That was brought down, wasn't it? The same way? It was infiltrated. Well, that's been known since the days back then. So, Babylon beware. You know, that was known. Infiltrate. Gather the information, and then infiltrate it, knock it down, and then you take over on power, yes? Isn't that usually the way it works here?
Yeah.
So, could the same have happened for Germany? That some informants were letting them know what they got. They found this. Wait, what? And then would there be anger as to why someone would know it? Could that trigger anger? That they held a piece of history from everybody, and would that piss people off? Is the question. Would there be fucking anarchy about that? Would it piss you off if you found out that you came from the moon? For argument's sake, if you came from space and everywhere had been convincing you that it's not true and that we've been marooned in this slave system to keep our heads down and don't ask questions, don't do this, don't do that, would it piss you off? Would it make you eternally angry, or would you be pretty cool with that? That you've been lied to and certain people know the truth, and while they've kept you blind and called it an education but didn't educate you everything, have kept you in this perpetual motion because of that.
I wouldn't
Fear.
be happy about it.
You wouldn't be happy. What would you reckon the people would be? Do you think they'll be alright with it? Do you think they'll be cool?
No. If it's a lie, it's a lie.
What, after making you tell the truth and never tell lies and bringing you up to be this way and... And then, what about your ancestors that were dragged into a war? There's something here, man. There's definitely something a bit wrong with all of this. Well, maybe it's nothing, but still, you can always ask these questions. Why go to this length? This is a lot of trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this guy's under house arrest.
Mm-hmm.
What did he get? He was a journalist, yes?
Yeah.
Well, what does he know? What did he know? What could be that bad? Can't be anything small, can it?
No. Must be something important.
Yeah, but what? That, again, a bit like these characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's just with this whole moon, it's... I don't know. All of this is strange. This is very strange behavior. And then what, we go to Mars, which is after all further away?
Yeah.
What, by brushing... That's like walking to a field, picking up a few bits that you can grab, bring that back, and then never go again. And claim you know the whole field based on that. And then go somewhere further and do even more intensive work to look at stuff, to find stuff, to dig down, to just... And it's further away and it's more challenging. What's wrong with the moon exactly? And we could say this because of an atmosphere. We didn't think anyone was planning on staying. I thought that they were going to be bringing back resources.
Yeah.
And that's even further away. If we then started mining the moon from Mars, that would be... That's very strange, very, very strange. And then looking at Europa and stuff with the amount of water that is on it.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that there were advanced life forms, way advanced, and something that they did? Technology changed when we come back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All of the technology seemed to progress a lot further when coming back from the moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think there were any remnants there?
Something happened.
What happens if life forms did this then? Just really quickly, I think I will dive into that. Do I want to keep any of that? Nope, we're good. Don't plan to rock the boat, Petra. I plan to capsize it and sink it like Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you've got life forms, yes,
Yeah.
that are advanced, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know enough, but know enough, let's say, to collect resources. Let's draw the Earth a little bit bigger. You're probably not going to be able to see it.
No,
So we're going to scrap that
I
pen.
can't see.
If I give it an outline, can you see it?
A little bit better. I see the round lights.
A little bit better. How are we doing on this one? Yeah, that's good enough. So, what if you had beings, right? And remember, the center of mass, yes?
Yeah.
What orbits what? Have we ever seen a big object orbit a little object?
A little object has to be heavier than it.
Right? So we understand that, yes?
Yeah.
So that would mean that you wouldn't know enough to understand something, right? And everything can go one way and it can also go back another way, yes?
Yeah.
So what happens if they were greedy, but didn't think enough and did some stuff where they were able to get into space, let's say? Who knows? Let's draw some weird shaped objects here, and these are their flying craft, yes?
Yeah.
Could they have been on this object, but grabbed some objects from further afield and started putting it on the moon,
Yeah.
which would have been their planet?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say this one here would have been their planet. And they made the object too big, and the once object that they lived on
Yeah.
then began to start orbiting this one
Uh-huh.
because they made it too big.
Mm-hmm.
And this had a consequence for it.
Yeah.
So this was supposed to be like, so if we understand the moon, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this one. If we started putting loads of objects on our moon,
Yeah.
and you would, why would you? Because it's weak atmosphere, it's not got a lot on it, this, that, and that.
Mm-hmm.
And its mass got so heavy that it stopped being the orbiter and became the object that then gets orbited.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If there's a meteorite event, you will knock the water back off of this one,
Yeah.
and it would then appear on the other celestial body. So if we made the moon too big,
Yeah.
we would change its mass, yes? So the moon essentially would stop orbiting the Earth, and the Earth would then begin to start orbiting the moon, yes?
Yeah.
Because it would become heavy.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got a load of objects coming, would you be tempted to slam them into things?
Yeah. If I knew how, yeah.
If you found a way to make it go fast, but not too fast that it causes damage, or perhaps you needed it to get nice and hot. Could you displace the orbit?
Yeah.
Then would you need to leave pretty quickly if your atmosphere started puffing down?
Yeah.
Anyway, just asking that question. It's unlikely that it happened this way, but still, it's possible. Or they removed this place around the Earth's orbit, and it was too early to do so, and a bombardment, something happened, loads of things started hitting.
Yeah.
The backside of the moon and knocking a lot of the moisture and everything else off of that object onto the Earth. You would then have to leave, yes?
Mm-hmm.
In leaving, what would you do? You would have to go towards, what, the poles? The bottom? Or if their equipment relied on magnetic belts,
Yeah,
that would limit them to...
that would make sense then.
They were advanced enough but had to get off it pretty quickly. Well, and then come down here along with most of the shrapnel, and that would explain our cold heritage, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
As to why we came from a colder climate as opposed to a hotter one.
Yeah.
Again, it seems unlikely, but again, you know, pay this one forward, because if you've got Earth and Moon system and you start bringing loads of material to the Moon and it's too much, you're going to change the center of mass, and you are going to be, Earth's going to be orbiting the Moon then, and the Moon will stop orbiting the Earth because it's heavy,
Yeah.
dense,
Yeah.
which would be a mistake. And what could you do in that situation? Well, you could have time to probably do something about that, but what does that cause to the tides? What happens to the water?
Oh no.
What happens to the atmosphere?
Everything changes.
And just by adding matter to this one, then this one starts to orbit this one again, then this one orbits this one. Can you move the planet system backwards or forwards just by altering the mass? By making one orbit one.
Yeah.
And then if you drop the mass at this point, this one starts to orbit in this one. And slowly but surely you can move using it. If you got it right, yes? So if you are orbiting this way, and then you dropped the matter on here to make this one more bigger,
Yeah.
this object starts going this way.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then once it gets here, you then move the mass over here. Can you see what? Then you begin to move again, drop the matter here on this object when it reaches here, drop something heavy onto it, move again, and so on and so forth. You can move through space using this process.
Yeah.
If you get it right, just right enough, can you keep the center nice and hot by using the forces to work against each other? Well, when we look at Jupiter, we know that that is true. Jupiter has an incredible amount of magnetic field, so it's molten, yes? Very hot in the center. It puts out more energy than it receives from the sun. So you already understand that with Jupiter, but it's got a lot of moons, and these moons at different variations is pulling the crust this way. And if it's one this side, it's pulling it that way at the same, squeezing. It's like taking a piece of spoon out the drawer and keep bending it. It gets very hot, it breaks. But if you could move the whole mass at once, the spoon metal, it will begin to glow. And then it turns white hot. And depending on what it's made out of, it might start generating a magnetic field, layer of protection. If you could get this on both of them to be stretching and squeezing themselves, multiple moons, you can travel through space using the moon's orbit. By changing the mass, you need twins to do it. Two independent bodies followed by a few little objects, yes, on each one.
Yeah.
When this one drops down on here, this one becomes the heavier one. This begins orbiting this way. Then when you've got these objects here that drop down on this one and these ones lift up, the changes happen so that you can slowly but surely, and actually this begins to pick up speed. How fast do you want to go? Depends on how quick you can drop something down and pick something off the bodies. You can begin to move using a moon system. You can also use this to shield yourself from micrometeorites. But again, what does that look like for life on a planet? And I'm sure it's possible. And what's more, you travel dark. So volcanoes, do you think that from a volcano, minus the stench and the gases that it promotes, do you think you can get nature to grow around a volcano? If you can move the gases away safely, which then sucks in other, it's nice and warm in that area, but no gases. Do you think that by using that light, you can grow nature? And maybe not enough to feed you for a civilization, but enough to feed animals to feed you, to keep you going. And providing that the breeding ratio was expandable, I think that's enough to keep you going. Could you generate energy from the steam? Cause it to push through a load of turbines that then powers a load of lights around using the core. You see, there are multiple ways to travel in space, many. In fact, it will fascinate you to know that there are hundreds of thousands of ways that you can maneuver and gain energy and use it all to your advantage. You just got to know what you're doing, and it's about synchronicity and timing. When you align these things, you really begin to get on a journey. So, you know, if you found a safe enough way to get down to the magma, and you were to install tubes that didn't melt, drop a load of water in there, that water is going to shoot out like a geyser. If you had a lot of these, there's one's going, and all these were hitting turbines, you'd have enough energy to power, that's indefinitely, as long as your core was hot enough to do so. And by the time that this one condensed and then dropped down again, it would shoot again. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy. This would keep happening for as long as your core was hot, and you sealed it at both ends. This would drop down, shoot back up, drop down, shoot back up, condense, cool down, drop down. In that, you could power a paddle. If it was connected to a chain that was then connected to a series of motors, that's full motion, non-stop. You could also move the planet to anywhere you want. And what's more, you can move covertly. It's harder to see an object that is dark than it is if you move a star. That's very obvious. You can also do this with stars, I'm pretty sure. You need two of them to do it, though. And you play the mass against each other. 1 minute one's heavy, and then if you could siphon it off and put it on the other one, then that one. Okay, now this one. You could make it walk in a figure of, well, not a figure of 8, back fourth orbit. You can force them to orbit one another. Black holes, you would do it with this. 2, you'd be more covert in that way. And what's more, you can get a lot of energy from it. Interesting. This maneuvering. And do you think that any life forms have ever done this? It's another question. Where do we truly come from? We look at Europa and we say another 50,000 years if humans don't do anything about it, that water will become part of Jupiter. Imagine that's what Io looked like at one point. And in that bombardment, bit by bit by bit, it pushed it closer and closer to Jupiter, which then caused it to change even more. So that's Io. If we look at Europa, bit by bit, bombardment, 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 this can push it closer and closer and closer. Slowly but surely. Yeah, I often sit there and think about how can you move in space. You know, it was when writing more yesterday, I ended up writing move. Slightly, it depends how you look at the art. Yeah, it's amazing how that works. There's also something else as well, the flower ratio. Now, is it 4 lumps of antimatter versus 5 lumps of matter, which draws the X? And then you have the ratio of the flower pattern, the petals, which is 4 pyramids, right? Egyptians seem to be more advanced than meets the eye, doesn't it? Do you see the star formation? Or is it or isn't it? Now, which way round does that go? Are we looking at Mam or are we looking at Ammam? Depends what you call it. Reality, anti-reality. Ra, 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 ra. Symbology, but again, for them to understand that, that doesn't come from prehistoric individuals. That comes from very advanced individuals, limited to the tools that they had at the time. Incredible amount of understanding. Now, depending on whatever happened in that situation, you could often look at it and argue that they lost a lot of stuff. If you had to leave and evacuate very quickly, right? So if the plates started up, it's not an event that perhaps humans really want to experience, but still, it's happened. When masses shift, certain parts collapse down, other parts rise up. That's not a gentle scene. That is very quickly done. And before you know it, this is Mariana Trench before you know it, within seconds. And have you not felt that in the last few days, especially last night? The ground is churning. Do you not feel that?
No, I don't feel that.
Something's going on down there. something. A very loud bang.
Uh-huh.
It's incredible, by the way. It's not what you hear. It's sort of a, I don't know. It's strange. Anyway, never mind that. That's for another day. The star formation is interesting.
Okay.
Which way round does it go? The bit's missing. But yeah, still, with this process, yeah, and the Egyptians, they seemed, the life forms back then seemed very, very advanced, very knowledgeable. Too knowledgeable for it to have dialed back down to today, yes?
Yeah.
And then what sort of humanity did we have back then? Controlling?
Yeah.
Ones that favoured dominance over liberation?
Yeah, controlling.
Suppression and rise up to the top? And
Yeah. That's what you see all the time with history.
imitation versus authenticity? And again, is that a clash of beings? And how do I say that? Is that a clash of beings? You've got one mindset that wants to be that, but wants to get there without that, to reach that power. And the other ones that probably, if they've travelled, would be quite friendly, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Because they would have had to have evolved to go into space to grab resources and come together and work as a team, right?
Mhm.
But certain life forms will appear to work as a team only so they can get what they want, and it's not for them, it's for those. Do you get what I mean? And then these people do it for because they know no different, right? We've almost got like two mindsets on the planet already. And then, oh, you're paranoid. Yeah. If only humanity was more paranoid back in the past, we probably wouldn't be in the situations that we're in today. You know, you notice that people took things laying down,
Yeah.
that they were easy to be taken over. Their generosity was used against them. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
You know, so, you know, the Roman way was to, what? Basically manipulate people.
Yeah.
And not only that, use their vulnerabilities against them.
Yeah, conquer as many nations as they could.
And then sent out informants to have a good listen and, oh yeah, he's over there, by the way, here's your silver. Yeah, wherever the story may go, but it's very true, isn't it? People will sell themselves out for a small-time gain.
Yeah.
For now, me, personal, but never your family's generation, if they ever get like this. And therefore, you rest assured that they never will get like this. That they're going to do what you did. In that narrow bandwidth, right? But it's never happened before. And then some people are taught this submission, isn't it? This submission, and some people are taught to dominate. To get that submission, yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
educated. Whether you like to admit that or not, that's educated. That has been taught. Is it really taught or is it inherited? But perhaps they came together and then thought that people would find that that would be a better way of being, where everyone's coming together, and then assume that these people are going to be like it too. And it was absurd to think that these people would just want to dominate everybody whilst they ran around for them, as opposed to run around for themselves. And it's that sort of scooping it up, yes? Interesting. So yeah, when gathering heavy objects from around the solar system and bringing them back to Earth, you can over-increase Earth's mass, which is not a great thing. Not always. That's something, so the balance has to be taken care of. Having multiple moons of heavy objects, again, at what distance? Have it orbit the moon, well, might start causing the moon to become, you know, reality is malleable. It's not the mind, it's reality. You can shape it and make it into what you want, can't you? Well, within reason, because we're taught to make it how certain people want it,
Yeah.
and nothing outside that group.
Yeah.
Which essentially is a prison. Either or. And then individuals that create that are also imprisoned but don't realize it because they never, you know. There's something with this though, the moon, I can't shake it. Is it that? Does it just look like that? I find secrecy repugnant. Rockets, moon, space, Bernard von Braun, moon. Neil Armstrong's quote, that's interesting. JFK assassinated, which was supposed to stop the moon program, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it could have made America and Russia go to war, right?
Yeah.
Because of who did it? Oswald, yes?
Yeah.
Which it didn't, and some people in America don't believe that it was anything to do with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you've just come out of a war. It's very expensive for both sides to go to the moon.
Yeah.
And then what? No brainer, let's go to war together. I mean, you're already depleted from Second and First World War, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Without ever recalibrating.
Yeah.
So a lot of things happened after that, you know, on both sides. And then that happens, and then it's made to look perhaps like it was this. So it might have done two things. Some secret was hidden, or, wow, we dodged it on that one. And also, it was like two birds with one stone. Who coined that phrase? I wonder. It's very morbid, but you get two birds with one stone if it had gone that way, right? If Russia and America had gone to war with one another, that would have depleted them further.
Yeah.
That's divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
That would also weaken down the pots even further. Then what makes it more manageable to be infiltrated by small nations? That's how it happens. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. It's terrible, isn't it? You understand that? You don't take on a big nation, you make it pit against two big nations, and then it weakens the two big nations, and then it makes room for a smaller nation to come in and dominate. Take both. And that's then the surprise element, right? So on top of that, you've got drained resources on moons, rockets, and everything else. You've come out of a First World War, Second World War, and then what? You go into another war because of someone was assassinated, but both of them were assassinated on both sides. They were thinking about joining together and perhaps going towards moon and beyond, which would have been both good for both sides, I'm sure. Yes. There's something to do with this moon. Every time individuals think about moon, and then Germany, I'm sure Germany were thinking about going to the moon. It's only a matter of time. The artifacts, Antarctica, the Arctic. Why were they going there? What did they find? What were they figuring out? It's like this breadcrumb trail, right? Well, you're just gonna figure out one day that you're gonna sit down and let's make some rockets. Doesn't really make much sense, does it? And then what? You want to go to war with other countries when you haven't made the rockets fully operational yet? Kind of weird, isn't it? It's backward logic. Or because they would use those rockets to come against us, but showed such restraint in the war. Use them towards the end, yes? Doesn't fit. They were not prepared. They were going somewhere. And then who was the group behind Germany? There was one. I know it. Bavarian couldn't be the Illuminati. It doesn't make any sense. There's some cult behind them. but they might have got knowledge from where. Someone already knows this. Perhaps hasn't confirmed it, but believe what's written. And then this would stack a lot of chips against them, wouldn't it? Germany's little pattern. Interesting. Maybe it's just reading into it too much, but why is it always associated with the moon, and why are there always so many little quotes made about it? Weird. There's something to do with that. It's the only land that has not been conquered. But yet we're trying to conquer other planets that are further away. Why? What is that? Go to the moon now, it's got nothing on it. I don't know. That's not been explored at all. What? That's like us dipping our foot into the ocean, isn't it? Nah, there's nothing there. It's bollocks, mate. You mean to tell me with that many meteorite impacts, there's no precious resources there at all? None? Nothing. It was hit with all the most boringest shit space could throw at it. And Earth has been littered with this stuff that's called rare. Is it because it's rare? Because the abundance part of it is on the moon, and the rare stuff landed on Earth as break off, the 40%. Or is it the fact that a civilization had already been there that was more advanced? But again, don't want to say that because our civilization would be dwarfed in comparison to it. You often find that there's reasons behind behavior, and usually it stems from losing power, loss of control, or there are lies. Secrets. Secrets, sorry. Just let me get the defibrillator on your ego. There we are. Beep, beep. That's better. Something here. Something here. And Julian Assange, what do you know? And it's related to this, isn't it? The moon. And that they want to assassinate you like JFK? Why? Because you hold some information that could destabilize empires.
Maybe just Christianity, not empires.
Christianity.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be it. No, this is a fucking paradigm shift. Whatever it is, it's big. People don't go to this much effort to silence people that know certain things. Nope. You don't dumb down most of your humanity to even look away from it as well. You don't all sign a peace treaty around Antarctica. No.
Who signed it? Many nations, or
I think
just
all of them.
All of them?
Enough that if you go there, apparently you would be shot dead.
So did some go there, or they just signed?
Yeah, they went there to go and visit stuff, and they come back changed. Open your mouth, and you're dead. Sign it. Something's there. Something's there.
Yeah.
You walk away from all of those resources, and then what? The moon? Look how pot it is. It's been orbiting around. That would have collected a colossal amount. Meteorites or comets, whatever you want to call them. They don't come in one. They come in a few bursts, but it's over a longer period of time, which makes it seem like it's one. Never is. Those ones that I went and picked up burst through the atmosphere. It was a massive bang. Boom. No reports about it. And something streaked through the sky. I followed it. Interesting. And then, yeah, it's just very interesting, you know. But there was quite a few of them. Some were over Russia, some were over Britain, loads of them land in the ocean and you never see it because there's nothing there to see it. If a sailor's in the area, maybe they see it. No, there's something there, big, that shifts something, and it's got to be related to all of the ones that signed it, that they've got fears of losing something. So therefore, that's the only reason why they would all come together and sign it. That they might have convinced one another that if anybody finds out about it, that's the end of us. Which may not be the truth. That's not true. I mean, whatever it is, they'll risk war and flatten their whole fucking landmass. And rebuild it, God knows how many times. That, they don't care. But this? Something's wrong. Something's very wrong here. And again, if it's inherited, if this has been inherited, then, you know, that inherited sort of... then no, I think there's real strength can be out in this. Can't there be real strength in revealing there's something? No one goes to this much effort, especially with all of this shit. And whoever it was, I mean... yeah. Because, you know, the JFK incident almost caused an international... I think I was watching something on BuzzFeed somewhere about them saying, it just seems like it's too obvious. Do you get what I mean? That it was Oswald, yes? Yeah. That he hated this, and again, you know, I sympathise with them as well. I understand that it does feel a bit off. I do pick up on that too, that sense, and it seems way too obvious, right? Like, fucking hell. The last time I checked, Russia were very secretive. You know, they don't tell you shit, do they? They don't. They really don't. They leave you to think about it. If you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. But this one, too obvious, right? It doesn't feel like Russia's style to me. They are very, think what you want type of thing, you know? No. It's like I said, when you create one world order, even a smallest group can knock it down and get in. Yes? It pit people against each other, and that's usually what you get. So, yeah, there's something here. But yeah, no, moving planets and different things like that, that's fucking easy. That's child's play, that is. And kids can do it. But to go to the moon and just only pay attention to it, yeah, I understand. Don't want to bring too much back in case you disturb the balance. But you can swap things. What you knock off the planet versus what you take off of the moon versus what you put on the moon. You can swap it pound for pound. It's a bit expensive. You might as well grab whatever's around in space. Again, the universe is doing this slowly but surely anyway. It likes to mess the balance up quite a bit on things, naturally. And again, how many star systems do you think have been here? You honestly think one? I don't. I think Jupiter's the next one in line. Shit me, it turned out to be Saturn. Bloody hell, would you look at that? But again, that would be stealing gravity. It would go to the heavy spot. It would look for the center. And something must be pulling on the star, right? Why is the star heliopause in one direction? Yeah. It looks like a sperm. Yeah. Well, if light was travelling all directions, yes, I believe that it does, but it seems more so this way. And is that a compass? Is that a compass needle pointing to a black hole somewhere in our centre of our Milky Way? And we can tell where the black hole is just by observing where the heliopause moves when we orbit around it. Yeah. So there seems to be more of something being pulled there, doesn't it? Yeah. Or we're travelling in a certain direction, but is it because of that? Or is it more like some force, gravitational force is usually responsible for it? It's pulling it towards it. And then that becomes a compass needle, so to speak, that is telling you where that energy is. And then from a distance, can we see it on other stars where that is being pulled towards the black hole, let's say? It's sort of siphoning off of all of them, bit by bit. But yeah, anyway, still with that. And then again, if the star explodes, which it will one day, then there's going to be crystallized lumps come out. A lot of this is in firing line, and whoever gobbles up most of that and holds intact to live to tell the story, yeah, becomes the next star. And what makes me say that? Well, because they were all in the Oort cloud, weren't they? Sorry, nebula. So that means any one of them could have become a star. And if it's the one in the middle, well done you, you're orbiting around me. But if it's the one on the end, well done, you're going to be orbiting around me. I got bigger. And then when that one exhausts itself, that stuff goes in multiple directions. Some of it seeds off that way, and it's lucky it does, really, because if not, all the planets are gone. I don't think every single one, I think a few get damaged in the process, and then what? A lot of that gets eaten by Jupiter, it's big enough already. A lot of the splash atmosphere goes, but the center of mass is then changed. We begin orbiting it, and you've seen what happens when moons orbit Jupiter. It's pulling on it, it's pulling on it, it's pulling on it, it's pulling on it. What happens if all the rest of the planets started orbiting Jupiter? That's even more pull. What does that then do? Does that then charge it up even more, makes it even more hotter? No liquids on me. I am liquid. From my center to my outside, you know? Is it going to start fusion and then factor that in with a load of star mass? Process starts again. And then that one pops. Who's next in line? And then until that completely runs out. And the process may happen again. So whether it's a cloud or already a planet, planets will stop clouds from forming center of mass, which then stop other stars forming in that process. Because they will begin to gobble that up anyway. And they're already big anyway, so there's not likeliness that there's going to be a star grow in that dust cloud. Maybe over there somewhere, yes. But here, no, Jupiter's taken that mass. And I'm going to eat a bit more and a bit more. And oh, look at me. I'm so bright now, aren't I? Look at me. I'm a star. Told you I would be a star one day. Hey, Mom. Oh, yeah, it doesn't work like that. But still. Well done, you, Jupiter. And then what? The life forms will be orbiting around it, seeing it as now, going, how did you form all these planets? Where did this star come from? Well, it come from over here, like this, a bit like this, and a bit like this. Did it? Are you sure? Yes, absolutely. What about these ones? Can't make them ones go away. I think there might be a reason for that. I think they grew later. And it goes to show you how many stars could you have in the lineup. Well, we look at the gas giants. They were close to becoming stars. Therefore, Earth, not so much. Mercury, Mars, they just didn't get enough. Oh, don't get me wrong, they got a good go, but just not quite enough. So Mars is a dead world, right? Well, we could say that.
Yeah.
It's a failed star, but its life isn't over. If it gets hit with the right amount of stuff and it gets hot enough, all of that hunk that's on the surface falls back down to the center. Off it goes again. Do you see how you can defibrillate? Do you notice how life is strange? It shows you reincarnation, even in the planets. Mars looks dead, and it is. Technically, it's dead. But it's suspended, is what it is. It's suspended in suspended animation, is what it is. And you know as well as I do, and anybody else, that it's only a matter of time before something big enough comes and hits into it. And a lot of things then begin to capture in its orbit. Stretch, squeeze. That metal is going to respond in a very strange way. The whole thing's going to cook up. And again, wouldn't that heavy mass that's stretching and squeezing on the planet, won't that just begin to drop down because of how hot it gets? It finds the center by burning everything in its path. It would sink back down into the planet. Be the weirdest thing for humans to ever see. Wait, what? The metal was there. Yeah, I know. I saw it get hot and melt down into the ground. Wait, what? It started getting hot. But all of a sudden, I got hit by a load of stuff. It got very big here all of a sudden. You mean to tell me this is Mars? This is Mars. This was Mars. It's now alive. Look. Now it's heating up again. Now there's water coming everywhere. It's flooded. How are we going to get the stuff? I don't know. How come you don't know? Because here's my resignation letter. I quit. I don't do wet planets. I come here to get away from the wet. Now this place has turned wet and hot and sticky and... Got a few moons orbiting around. No, we better leave it. So yeah, no, I'm definitely a believer that, you know, not all is lost. And then if you're looking at that and thinking, my word, when I die, it's over. Are you sure? Is it really over? Well, it'd be nice to think so, wouldn't it? I don't think it's quite that way. So at the moment, compared to Earth, we look at live planets with magnetic fields. Anything without a magnetic field, is it living? Not in the understanding that we see living. So we look at the moon and go, it's dead. And that means Mars is dead too. But literally, these are not dead. They're in torpor mode at the moment. At the moment, conditions do not favor moons. But, however, in a changing environment, if they get big enough, well, gee me, they can puff up with an atmosphere. Ooh, they get big enough, things start to orbit them. I'm no longer the orbiter. You will orbit me now. Look at me hula hoop you now. It starts stretching and squeezing even further, and then, oh my God, it just gets blessed. God's like, ooh, show me what you can do. It's nice and big, and could you imagine that? Earth is screaming at us. I used to be a moon once. There, here's some medication. I'll shove it in your volcano. No, you didn't. Come on, you're delusional. I did. I used to be a moon. Before I was a moon, I was a piece of dust. Come on, look. If I get bigger, I can be a star one day. Ha 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 ha. Yet then when time goes by, whew, you know what? That planet was right. Earth becomes a star. Could you imagine that? Bad day for humans. Bad day for controlled humans. Stay on the planet. Okay then. It would be called Terra. We call it a new sun god and everything, right? And then the moon becomes so big it becomes its binary twin. And then we have a binary system. Twins, eh? Cool. That's interesting, isn't it? Hey, think about that. Anyway, I do. I do a lot. I like it. And then moving planets and moon this way, how far could you get? Planet getting too hot, move back a little bit. Oh, that's just right. Again, but you'd have to test this on other objects first. Not recommended to experiment on the Earth, with the Earth, just in case it all goes fuck up. But if you get it right, would you imagine that? Programming that into a system. The vehicle becomes the very thing you live on.
Yeah.
And if you keep it hot enough, you've got power. You can then generate your own star. Travel covertly across the universe without being seen by anything. I mean, it's not possible almost kind of to see a brown dwarf, yes? Or giant. Not sure. Apparently it rains iron on there. That is fascinating. A bit like Venus to Glorium, frosted on top of mountains. I mean, You would never believe it, would you? And in some places, water is so hard, it's like rock. Can you imagine that? With a fucking hammer with it. You could shape it into a hammer and it'd beat your metal on Earth. That is interesting, isn't it? You can use it as a hammer. You wouldn't be able to bang it. Could you make it spark? See, that's the question I ask. You know, if it's hard enough, would it spark? If you smack them together right? Could you make it spark on metal? Oh, don't know. That becomes a different question entirely, but still. Wait a minute. They're making fire with ice? It looks like it. It's so hard you can make friction with it and it catches fire and it melts. You know, I don't know. That would be a weird thing to think about, but still. That's interesting. Shape things with it. Anyway, so yeah, there are lots of things that change your perspective on things, and crazy is not even a word for it, I think. I think it's beautiful. But yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. There's loads more I want to go into, but you're looking a little bit tired. Are you a little tired? You look a little tired. But yeah, no, I'm gonna leave this one there. But very interesting nonetheless. Sure. You try fit this in a shoebox in a textbook under your bed.
It does.
You just can't, can you? You just now made encyclopedias just on planetary stuff and science. All of the kids are like, I thought it was already hard. Hard. It's easy. Got to think about it. That's all you got to do is just think. There again, you got to fill your head with a lot of nuances. And where do you learn it from? I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere. By not learning and staying fixed on learning and being cool with being a hypocrite. And also being cool to get things wrong. All of these things help. And question everything from yourself to life. You know, limits you place on yourself. Don't do that. Be unlimited. You know? Anyone want to join my limited company? Or do you want to come and join my unlimited company? Why is it unlimited? Because it's abundant. The mind knows no bounds. Only humans do. So I'm going to leave it there.